channel. My name is Kayla. I'm so glad you're here. Today I'll show you how I prepare my matcha at home. I've been living in Japan for just over 2 years now, so I've gotten to try a lot of different matcha in my time here, so I'm also really excited to share some tips with you so that you can make the best matcha at home. So first, these are the tools that you'll need for an authentic tasting matcha. First is the chawan or tea bowl. This can be made of glass or ceramic. Next is the yuzamashi or cooling vessel. This is used to lower the temperature of the water. A chasen or whisk. This is made of bamboo and it's used for whisking air into your matcha. A chasen tate or whisk holder. This helps to maintain the shape of your matcha whisk. A chashaku or bamboo tea scoop. I prefer to use a tiny one. And a furui, which is a tea sifter. This helps to separate the clumps of the matcha. And finally, you will need a high quality matcha. It can completely change your experience of drinking matcha. Matcha comes from the tea plant Camellia sinensis. It's shaded for about 3 weeks before harvest. During this time, the chlorophyll and the amino acids are increased in the plant. And when it's time for harvest, in a high quality matcha, the topmost leaves are plucked from the plant. They are then steamed, they are deveined, they are dried, and finally they are stone ground into a fine matcha powder. So when choosing a matcha powder, I like to look for 3 things: the texture, the taste, and the color. Matcha actually doesn't dissolve into the water, so when you whisk it, it should be a very fine texture so that the matcha can actually suspend into the water and create a nice frothy foam on the top. I prefer a matcha with a really strong umami, almost sweet and grassy kind of taste, so I prefer to buy my matcha from Uji. Uji is a really beautiful town just south of Kyoto, and I really recommend visiting there if you're at all interested in matcha and tea. Noticed in lower quality matcha, the taste can lean kind of more towards that bitter, acidic side. Finally, the color should be a vibrant green. To me, this is the best indicator whether a matcha is fresh and of high quality. Here are 2 different matcha powders for comparison. The one on the left has a more olive yellow tint, and the one on the right has that vibrant green color. They actually both come from Uji, but differ a lot in price and quality. So to make your matcha at home, you'll want to start with some boiling water. Pour it into your cooling vessel to bring the temperature down, and meanwhile soak your whisk to make sure that the bamboo is more flexible and less likely to crack. This also preheats your matcha bowl so that your matcha stays warm a bit longer. I really like using a ceramic bowl for this reason. After a few minutes, dry your matcha bowl, and now it's time to sift in your matcha powder. Matcha naturally clumps, so this step helps result in a smoother texture. I like to put about 3 to 4 small scoops, but honestly the best amount is up to you, so I'd recommend experimenting and seeing what you like best. So now that it's been a few minutes and the water has lowered in temperature, you can pour that water into the bowl. It's important the water isn't boiling because it can actually destroy important nutrients and it tends to draw out that bitter flavor. Next, it's time to whisk. It's best to whisk in a zigzag shape rather than a circular motion. I let my whisk glide along the bottom of the bowl, but not press down too hard. This releases any matcha stuck to the bottom. Then I gradually work my way up. Most of the motion should come from your wrist, not your arm. And don't worry, the more you do it, the more familiar your muscles will get to the movement. After, I always make sure to rinse my whisk under some hot water so it's ready for the next time. It's important to not use soap because the whisk can actually absorb the flavor of the soap. Then I let it dry back on the whisk holder so that it can maintain its shape. Finally, it's time to enjoy your matcha. I like to drink mine plain, or I like to make a latte and add some of my favorite spices. If you're interested in seeing how I make that latte, let me know in the comments below if you would like to learn how to make it in a future video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new in today's video or saw something you liked, give me a thumbs up, write me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow, and I also really love connecting with you. That's it for this week, and I'll see you next time.